Yeah, Google Maps on Alexa is telling me that how bad the traffic was. And, I don't want to knock the technology. I think the technology is very good. But, the fastest you can possibly do this journey, this commute, with no traffic is 21 minutes. So, it's telling me it's heavier than normal today, and it's 25 minutes. I'm not really too worried about 4 minutes, even though it's only 20 minutes, 21 minutes, 4 minutes, it's not that bad, is it? We are moving. It was quite slow on the M50. I'm now off the M50, heading towards Dundrum. And we're moving. It's a little bit busy, but I should be ahead of the school runs, I hope. But yeah, it was a bit of a downer when, it's slow. Traffic's slow. Alexa said it's slow. And then Google Maps says things like, it's slower than normal and it's getting worse, But it's only 3 minutes. I can do that, 3 or 4 minutes. I've got 3.7 kilometers to go. Now it's showing as red, the number 9 minutes. So that doesn't sound very slow now, but I'm moving quite rapidly. I can see up ahead, around traffic lights, it's always got to stop, aren't we? There might be a chance you get to on green. Oh, and I can see there's a bit of orange there, which, even when there's no traffic around, you can get held up a little bit, so I'm not really too worried about that. I wonder if it needs to put a bit more of a positive spin on the whole affair. It might feel a bit, depressed in a way. Alexa's always quite chirpy when she's talking to me, and yet she really sounded a bit down, when she was talking about when she was talking about the traffic, and even the weather as well. She sounded a little bit negative, that it's going to be cloudy. I don't think she mentioned intermittent rain, but when she's talking about the clouds, she could have said it's going to be sunny between the cloudy spells, but she didn't anyway. I thought it was a bit of a negative spin. It might just be me. I'm relatively new to Alexa. I only got her the other day. Got it all configured in the kitchen now. And sometimes I'm sort of stuck for words. I'm not used to blurting out instructions to anything, to anyone, and it's quite an odd thing, I find. So I might say something like, Alexa, what's the humidity like? Or Alexa, what's the traffic light like? And I feel like I want to say thank you afterwards. Well, thank you for that, Alexa, I must be so very polite. Maybe manners have been drummed into me as a child. And, I should respond back, and every nugget of information that she comes back with, thanks for that, I did try testing her. Like I said, I'm a bit stuck as to what to ask her. I did ask her to play some music. I can pick an artist or an album or a song. That's sort of no problem. I'm still struggling a bit to get her to play something, that I like, that I don't have to specifically say, I want this, and this. Now, I've got it linked into Spotify, and I don't know if there's some functionality lost when you do that compared to Amazon. I suppose it's an Amazon product. So it's not working perfectly at the moment. I've got to do a bit of work on it. I had a bit of a mess around over the weekend, but I couldn't be bothered, I did test her a few times. I asked sort of funny questions, what is pi to 8 decimal places? It's 3 pi 1 for 159.265, and she got that right. And then I asked about what is 65,536 in hexadecimal. And she started showing off a bit then. She said it's 65,536 in base 16. Base 16, oh, we didn't call it that in my day, it was hexadecimal. Anyway, she sort of got it right. I should have asked for 65,535 with hindsight, but she got it right anyway, which is, it looks like 10,000 written down. It's 1 and 4 zeros in hex, but it's not. I don't think it's pronounced that way. So if you was wondering what hexadecimal is, if you think we work in decimal, so a numbers range from 0 to 9 in each column, and then when you get to 10 it becomes 1 0, etc, etc. With hex you carry on past 9, and 10 is A, 11 is B, etc, up to 15, which is F. And then that's all in one column. And then when you get to 16, it's a 1, 0. So 16 is shown in hexadecimal. It looks like 10, but it's not 10. It's 1, 0, which is 1, 16 and 0 units. So for those of you who are, using decimal, yeah, it does seem a little bit confusing, but it means you can display large numbers efficiently. I think that's essentially where it comes from in the dawn of computers. And some of my first experiences with computers was in machine code, the computers understand, and it was used extensively hexadecimal for referencing addresses and referencing numbers and things like that, and putting into registers and all the rest of it. Yeah. So it's handy to know. I learned it when I was very young, probably 11, 12. But for everyday life, it's probably pointless. I sort of remember, I suppose, interesting sums or, things like to do around the K. So 1K is 1024 bytes. 1 meg is 1024K. It's not 1000, but there is now an SI version, which is confusing. But computers, 8-bit computers, they wanted it to they reference a certain 2 to the power of, I think it was. And I used to amaze the kids with ridiculous, I've probably mentioned this before, but I used to things like and I did this with Alexa, and I easily beat Alexa, but she's quite a slow talker. Things like, what's 16 times by 1024, 16,384, all that sort of stuff. Because I'd memorised or remembered, because I was using it so much when I was younger, these sort of ridiculous numbers. But yeah, so Alexa's alright so far. Bit of a downer on the weather and a downer on this traffic. Was she accurate? I suppose she was. I didn't see any. It did go red, the number there with Google Maps, but I've not seen any red. I've hit a bit of orange. It's actually got green at the moment, and there is going to be a little bit of a hold again out of this junction coming out of the estate opposite from the office park. And this time of day, yeah, it's par for the course. 300 metres to go, 290 metres, and it's this is a sticky little junction. They're trying not to knock a cyclist down. Cars, you sort of go, but cyclists now, I find it hard to judge when they're coming down the cycle lane. I never actually hit one. I did make the mistake of coming out once and having to stop to let cars pass, and it meant for a few moments I obstructed the cycle lane. And a cyclist that came down a good 30 seconds, 60 seconds after I'd come out, decided to start banging on my boot and telling me what a arsehole I was. But I don't know how else I could have done it. I couldn't have gone out the 2 lanes. I got as far as I could, let a car go, and then I went. I think the cyclist felt there was in the front that I'd blocked his cycle lane. But I did talk to someone the other day, and they were saying that cyclists sometimes behave in quite an irrational manner because they're a little bit pumped up. It's a physical activity. The blood is pumping. And I suppose they get this, I don't know what you call it, is arrogance? And you sort of need it, I think. You need quite aggressive style to be a cyclist because you're so small and vulnerable versus big lumps of metal. I mean, this is ridiculous. There's 4, 5, 6 cars in front of me, and they've all got one person in the car. I mean, 12 tons of metal. All this fuel and exhaust fumes and car insurance, car tax. Man, and for what, eh? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that an awful waste?